Go for the hit. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their Fantasy Pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com, and we got a jam-packed show. We got Dave Mason coming on a little later in segment 2 to break down the sharp money in the college football market. Let me introduce you guys to the lineup. We got the legend, the Philly Rooster, in the house, ready to fire. Rooster?
Ready to fire, baby. Another full slate this week, and there's not many left.
Yeah, and we've been talking about Alabama for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and now they're coming on strong, and they might make some noise. Their odds are down like plus 250 to make the college football playoffs. 3-4 weeks ago, they were around 500-600. So they're making a move like you said they would.
Yeah, I mean, that was easy. The writing was on the wall. They need ratings. They saw what happened with the MLB playoffs. I'm not saying it's fixed, but when they lean a certain way, they're going to try to do everything they can to make that happen.
All right, let's get down to business. Let's give out some sports betting winners for everyone listening out there on Sirius XM, watching us on JAKIB Media on YouTube, and we're live streaming it on X on Twitter at Philly Godfather. Let me go to my main man, Matt Maltebis from the College Kids. He's been on fire, 14-3 on his last 17 premium moves at the PhillyGodfather.com. Matt, is there a college football game you really, really like this week that you want to give out to everyone?
So, yeah, when we look at this Ole Miss Georgia game, I'm looking at this Georgia team last week. I mean, they versed Missouri, and they struggled with them. And Missouri last week was, the best team they had played in a yards per play metric, opponent yards per play metric, and sack percentage metric by far and wide margin. This week, Ole Miss is actually ranked better in all those categories. So I really do like Ole Miss +7 first half. Ole Miss has had a pretty, tough schedule, one of the hardest schedules in the nation, the top 10, top 15 hardest schedule. And, +7 first half, that's a lot. Rebels, run heavy team, and Bulldogs defense. I mean, they're ranked better in their opponent yards per completion metric rather than opponent yards per rush metric. So I think this matchup suits the Rebels. I bet them first half +7.
Do you like them full game too or no?
I do like them full game as well.
So +14 full game?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, let me go to the Sheepster. Jimmy Batista, the man, the myth, the legend. You've seen him on the front page of every newspaper in the country, HBO, Showtime, Vice, Netflix, special, flagrant foul. Jimmy, who do you like in college football this week?
I like a few little particular games. I'll wait till I'm against Maddie in that in the Georgia game.
What, are you laying the favorite every week?
No, I just think. Listen,
was that a movie? Lay the favorite? Was that a movie? Was that about Dink or something?
Yeah,
the Dinkster.
Him and Skates.
So wait, Bad likes Georgia? I can't believe it.
I do. After everyone comes in, hits the dog. If I could lay 9.5 on the game, I like that. I also like over in the Bama game.
One at a time. Don't give them all out at once. You know what I mean?
First one, I'll wait to if Georgia gets to 9.5, I'm going to be a Bulldog, and I love the Bulldogs this year. That's my first one.
Yeah, you've been betting them all season. Just lay the money line on Georgia. You can't lose.
Well, listen.
And guess what?
They have the
Winner,
fourth
winner,
worst against the
chicken
spread
dinner.
record in the nation. So
He's laying the money line, man. Don't worry about it. He ain't
No,
losing.
there was a guy I used to know all the time. I'm teasing it. I'm teasing it.
Then we got a Philly Rooster. Roosters, anyone in college football you like this week?
Yeah, I kind of like this West Virginia game against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's 7-2. West Virginia's 6-3. I know it's at Oklahoma is a tough place to play, but give me 2 touchdowns here. I mean, West Virginia, I think, is going to keep this game close. I think Oklahoma will squeak out a win by 7 to 10 points, but I like West Virginia plus the 14.
It's a lot of points in college football. You get 2 touchdowns. Wow. I mean, the back door is always open, especially with a good defense like West Virginia's. Me personally, this team has cost me money over the last few weeks. But if you look at the tail of the tape, Miami and Florida State, they're pretty similar. I mean, if you look offensively, their metrics are very close. Yards per play, yards per rush, yards per pass, third down conversion rate. And on defense, you look at yards per play allowed, yards per rush allowed, yards per pass allowed. It's been the turnovers that has killed Miami this season. But metrically, and with the kids on the field, it's pretty close here. And you're getting 14.5 points. It's hard for me to put some money down on Miami, but oh man, the line opened up 14.5. I'm seeing some 14s at some of the sharper shops offshore and in Vegas right now. If they don't turn the ball over, they cover this number. It's a big number, man. I kind of like Miami here plus the 14.5. I think they finally wake up. It's a big game for both teams, but that's a big number, man. Rooster, you like Miami here or Florida State?
I like them a lot. I took 14.5. I'm seeing 13.5 on this game now.
Wow.
I mean, the line's dropping. It's not square money. This is all sharp money pushing that number down. If you didn't take 14 already, I think you're going to have a hard time finding it.
Matt, you like Miami or Florida State there?
So I lean Miami, but what I actually like a little bit better, although I haven't bet it yet, was actually the under 52. I mean, both teams, they're top 30 in opponent yards per play. And at the same time, they're ranked below 75th, both teams, in seconds per play. So with that being said, I mean, it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a defensive game. Those defenses, pretty good defenses, and a slower paced game.
All right, before we go to segment 2 and go to the break, I want everyone to check out UnderdogFantasy.com. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code WIN, and they'll match your deposit up to $100. That's promo code WIN, W-I-N, at UnderdogFantasy.com, and start making some money. Make sure you guys come right back. We're going to give out a bunch of college football. We got Dave Mason coming on in our next segment, and we're going to keep firing, so come right back.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com. And to recap the first segment, we went over some college football games. Rooster likes West Virginia plus 14, Miami plus 14.5. Matt Malteps from the College Kids likes Ole Miss plus 7 in the first half and Ole Miss plus 11 full game. He also likes Miami, Florida State to go under 52. Is that right, Matt?
Lean that way, but I haven't bet it yet.
And sheep, I mean, you don't need rocket science. Sheep's on Georgia each and every week.
Wait a minute.
He likes them again this week. I mean, what a shocker. And what's sheep on Georgia?
In the Miami game, I like Miami in the first half, but I think Florida State is a better second half team when they've been playing in the recent play in the past 3 weeks. So I like Florida State in the game outright, covering that number. Rooster Bird.
Well, they're laying a big number outright. You can't use that term when they're laying.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna make it a teaser. You happy? Fuck out of here. No, I like Miami.
No F-bombs. You gotta chill with the F-bombs.
Oh, excuse me. I apologize.
This ain't the old follow the action, Jimmy. All right, Dave Mason, I got a text. He's coming on our next segment. So let's give out some more college football moves this week. Let's give out some winners. Let me go to Rooster first. Rooster, you got an Alabama team playing Kentucky here. They're lane 11, totals 47. Kentucky had a projected season win total set before the season started at 7. Alabama was at 10.5. As of right now, 80% of the early tickets are on Alabama, probably more by game day. Line opened up 11. I'm seeing some 10.5s pop up at some of the sharper shops. Who do you like here in this matchup?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me because, in these games, I always lean dog. But you're looking at an Alabama team that's catching fire right now, like we said, and they got some life to get in this championship round, the Final Four. And I just have a hard time betting against that right now. I mean, this guy, when this coach smells blood in the water, he comes after it hard. He wants to make statement games. He knows that's part of the playoff conversation. If they come out and beat this team, Kentucky, by 30, let's say, there's going to be some real chatter to get them in that top 4 when Sunday night comes for the college football playoff show. So I lean Kentucky here because I think they can keep it close, and I really like that squad. I'm just afraid of Alabama, and I'm just not going to touch the game at all.
That's why we're going to bet over 47, Rooster, because the NCAA needs them in the playoffs, and Alabama's going to put up 40 themselves this weekend.
Wow, what a statement. 40 points for Alabama. I mean, you know what, though? Kentucky got blown out at Georgia, 51-13. Missouri beat them by 17 points, 38-21. That's a real possibility. I mean, you look at Alabama's quality wins on the season.
It's the square side, Bama and the over.
It's square, but it might win. I mean, they beat LSU, they beat Tennessee, they beat Ole Miss. The only loss was to Texas. Kentucky, who they beat all year? They beat a Florida team that's
Think about it. A close game, Steve. They're not going to be a question mark. They need a blowout. They need points.
And they clinched the SEC West if they win the game and Ole Miss loses. I mean, I know Ole Miss plays Georgia at 7 p.m., but they'll clinch that. Matt, let me go to Matt Molteps from the college because, Matt, you like Alabama here in this matchup or you like Ole Miss?
I like Alabama here. I really do. I mean, we look at Kentucky's strength of schedule. They're ranked 65th. Alabama's had a top 5 hardest schedule, and yet, I mean, look at their wins over Tennessee, over LSU, and convincingly by 14 points against Tennessee, by 14 again against LSU. They beat Texas A&M, Arkansas, Ole Miss. They actually beat Ole Miss 24-10, and they lost to Texas. Texas is a damn good team, but I mean, Kentucky hasn't beaten anyone. The strength of schedule hasn't been there, and when they did versus that tougher comp against Tennessee, I mean, they lost by 6 points. Meanwhile, Alabama beat them by 14. They lost to Georgia. They didn't just lose; they got destroyed by Georgia. 51-13. They lost to Missouri. So, yeah, I think Alabama minus, I would love to catch 10 on this game. I know it's currently sitting around 11, 10.5, but that 10.5 is looking very appetizing.
Rooster, I know you're leaning towards a dog here, but Alabama has been one of the best teams in the country scoring in the second half. I think they're ranked like 15th or 16th nationally in second half points. You think maybe you're better off just waiting to halftime to see how the game's going and then maybe put a little bet on Alabama in the second half?
Yeah, you can do that, or you can just bet Kentucky in the first half. But like I said, I really like this Kentucky squad. And if it wasn't for this particular spot they're in with this Alabama team going for the playoff, I would definitely like them. And that's why I lean that way. But like I said, I'm not going to touch this game either way. I think I'll just enjoy it on TV and watch it.
All right, let's go. Let's switch the topic to the championship odds. As of right now, Michigan was 225 to win it all. They're down to plus 220. Georgia was plus 275. They're at plus 260. Florida State plus 700. Now plus 600. Ohio State's the same from plus 700 to 7-1. Washington 12-1. Alabama's down to 8-1 right now. That was a big jump. Texas still at 15-1, and Oregon was 25-1. They're down to 10-1. So that should make anyone nervous if they're holding Washington futures to win the pack. Let me go to Matt Malteps from the College Kids right now. He's been on fire. If you had to pick one of these teams right now at these prices, who would it be?
Yeah, I told you guys a little bit ago about Ohio State being a good bet, and we've seen those odds drop now to 7-1. And I still like Ohio State. I still think when they go and they verse Michigan, I think they're going to be able to, give Michigan a little fight. I think they might be able to take them down the last game, November 25th. But Oregon, great bet to me. I mean, you get them 10-1 right now. I think it's a great bet. I think they sweep the floor with the last 3 games.
Yeah, I think they're actually better than they.
They had the second. They have the second best against the spread record in the nation, while also, I believe, having the second best margin of victory in the statistic metric. They're second best in the nation. So, yeah, the team's very powerful.
Yeah, and like I said, they should have beat Washington. When it comes to Ohio State, they're plus 110 to make the playoffs now. That line was a lot higher a couple weeks ago. And if Michigan trips up against Penn State, I mean, the market's moving against Michigan. I see that game at open 5. It's down to 4 at some spots. So, I mean, that might be the right move there. Ohio State plus 7. Let me go to Rooster next. Rooster, out of all those teams, that if you had to pick one right now, I'm thinking you're going to say Alabama, but who would it be?
Yeah, I still think Alabama at 8-1. I mean, I loved them at 17-1 when we first started talking about this. I liked them last week at 15-1. I don't like them as much, obviously, at 8-1. But I still think they have the best shot of getting in here. Now, Texas is interesting, too, because, as you know, Texas beat Alabama. So that's going to be their big argument. And they're 15-1. But, yeah, if I had to pick one of these, it'd still be Alabama.
All right, Matt, Rooster, I'm going to ask Sheep next. Let's try and guess who he likes to win it all.
Plus 260.
Keep picking, Sheep.
I'm going to pull something out of Rooster's pocket. Oh, let me get Penn State at 10,000 to 1.
Yeah, don't sleep on Penn State. Wait, first of all, I think their odds went
Penn
up.
State they have a shot to beat
If they beat
Michigan.
If they beat Michigan and then Michigan beats Ohio State,
then they could.
How do you not put them in?
And they could upset Michigan this weekend. I think with all this nonsense, the scrutiny of the Spygate and them stealing signals, it's like the Big Ten doesn't want. They don't want. I didn't say it, but I was thinking it. But they don't want Michigan in the playoffs. So if Penn State can pull it off this weekend, yeah, they have a chance. I really do say that. And I don't like Penn State, but if I could take 4.5 on this game or 5,
it's out there. You can take it right now.
Well, I just want hold on while we're talking about Penn State. I want to give Baba just some kudos for giving out Maryland last week. They got thumped 53-3.
Rooster plus 50, Rooster.
Yeah, at halftime I texted Baba. I said, I think you might have made a mistake on this game. Check your analytics.
Listen, I can't win every game. I did lose on that game. And before we get into the NFL show, yes, I did lose on the Cowboys.
We'll talk about that in the NFL show. Don't worry.
Yeah, I can have one losing day, Rooster.
Yeah, I think Florida State wouldn't be a bad bet at 7-1. They got the best odds of any team left in college football to make the playoffs at minus 320.
You know what? Penn State, Steve, actually thrown a few beans on Penn State because, you take them at – seriously, what's the odds right now? Like 7,000?
No, that ain't that high. But listen, hold that thought. We're going to have to go to a break. We'll be right back in about 10 seconds.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower, on one of their stats? Then do what you usually do on a Sunday. Watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com. And if you're looking to purchase sports betting information, you got to check out the PhillyGodfather.com. We've got the sharpest sports bettors in the world. They've written books about us, made movies about us. You've seen us in articles in the New York Times, you name it. And stop by. Sports betting packages are just $3 a day. You can pick up Philly Roosters package, Bury the Right Number, or Matt Maltemp's from the College Kids. So make sure you stop by the PhillyGodfather.com. But next up is our guest, one of our favorites, live from Costa Rica, Dave Mason from Bet Online.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
Dr. Dave Mason.
What's up, Jimmy?
What's the weather like down there, man?
It's nice, and it's nice. A little cloudy out there. Again, we're in rain season this time of year, but it hasn't been a bad rain. Last year was insane, man. But this year hasn't been bad, which is, ain't the best though, because you do need the rain down here in an environment like this, because we're about a month and a half out from no rain for 4 months. So it's kind of nice that there's no rain, but you do need it. But we'll see. It could open up any minute. Who the hell knows?
Before we get down to business, real quick, like what's your life like down there? You wake up around 11 o'clock? You go
11
out.
o'clock. Get the hell out of here! Yeah, 11 o'clock. I'm in your age group, man. You're talking. Matt probably wakes up at 11 o'clock. But you know the old guys, man. I see you tweeting out you're drinking coffee. I'm like,
4:30 in the morning.
I already went for a walk. I already, brushed my teeth, did my business in the bathroom. I went for a walk. Nah, man, I'm up at 4, and it ain't by choice, man. I always say you could offer me $1 million if I can sleep until 7 o'clock a.m. And I'd tell you to just take that $1 million and flush it down the toilet. It's not happening. I mean, it's brutal. No, I go for a walk, go work out, come back, log on, and
you start firing. That's it.
Start doing my thing. So,
all right, let's get down to business. First game on the board: Mississippi at Georgia. I see 11's out in the market, 58. Which way is the sharp money betting this? Where are the recreational sports bettors at? And where did it open up at? And where's it at now at Bet Online?
Yeah, we're at 10.5 and 58. Open 10.5. Action's choppy. 53% of cash is on Ole Miss. 52% of the bettors are on Georgia. Not a lot of action yet. It's a night game, so it's pedestrian action. I mean, it'll come in by game time, but just don't put too much into those splits. Sharp under 59. A little bit on Ole Miss at plus 11.
Is that you, Rooster? Put that little Ole Miss action in there.
Yeah, I already bet it. I told you.
Love it.
Before we go to the next game, Dave, the way Alabama's been playing, have you seen an uptick in the futures market on that?
Hell yeah, man. I mean, we're buried on them. They after they lost that first game, their odds went down to 33-1 and 40-1. I forget exactly, but they were as low as 40-1. And once you hold it, putting those odds out there, people start putting those lottery tickets out, and then when they start getting better quarterback playing, they're winning, and it keeps coming in. So they're our second biggest liability right now. As of a month ago, we're in the black with them, but now we have a pretty big liability on them. The only team we have a bigger liability on is Oregon. So yeah, we went from big Alabama fans earlier in the year to pretty big red number now.
Well, what kind of bet could you put a future on at Bet Online if I want to take Alabama right now? What are the odds? What are they, like 8-1?
Yeah, we're at 8-1. Actually, I think plus 750. I think either 8-1 or plus 750. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next game on the screen. Arizona is laying 10 at Colorado. Never easy to win at Colorado with that altitude. Total 54.5. Which way are they betting this one, Dave?
Yeah, we got 10 and 54.5. You're right. Open 9.5, 53.5. 64% of the cash, and 53% of the bettors are on Arizona. Some sharp under 55 or more. Again, not a lot of action yet. And it's, just so crazy how just like a month ago, just all that action, or just a little over a month ago, all that action coming in these Colorado games. Now they're just kind of an afterthought with the public. I mean, that was so exciting early in the season, all that. I mean, we're setting records on these dang games. And now it's like, Colorado's playing. Who cares?
Yeah, it's amazing how things just flip-flop. All right, next game, Utah at Washington. I see some 9.5s in the market, 9s, total 50. Where are you guys at? Which way are they betting this one?
Let me check real quick. My screen is shut down. Utah. Okay, sorry about that.
It's all right.
Utah, yeah, we're 9.5. Washington's laying 9.5 and 50. Action's choppy there too. It's nothing too big yet. I mean, the action is good, but it's just choppy. And sharp action, nothing too sharp as of yet.
All right, let's go to the next game on the board. USC at Oregon. Big number, 15 and 75. I'm not sure where you guys are at. Which way are they betting this one?
Yeah, we're at 14.5 at 75, open 13 and 73.5, 63% of the better, 65% of the cash is on the Ducks. Got a little bit of sharp on over 73.5.
Next game up, Florida at LSU, 13.5 and 64.5. Which way are they betting this one?
Open LSU 14 and 63.5, 57% of the cash, 61% of the bettors are on LSU. Sharp Gators plus 14 and over 63.
All right, let's go to the next game on the board, the biggest game probably this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Michigan at Penn State at Happy Valley. I'm seeing some numbers down, prices down to -4, 4.5, 45. Where did it open up at? Which way is the sharp money going and which way is the public going?
Yeah, it's currently have a 4 and 45, open 3 and 43.5. This game by far is getting the most action, early action, and I expect it to get the most action game day as well. 63% of the cash and 70% of the bettors are on Michigan, so it's looking like we'll be Penn State fans. Did take a little bit of sharp on PSU at plus 4.5 or better. A little bit on over 45. Oh, we got two-way sharp on the total, 44.5 over and under 45.5.
Was there any sharp money on the money line Penn State at all or no?
That I'm not sure of. Let me check.
I guess Rooster did better with you guys.
Yeah, not yet, I guess. Thanks for letting me know. I'm going to move it right now.
All right, Dave, thanks for coming on. We're going to have you on the NFL show.
Hold on a second, Godfather. Dave, when's the last time you saw a college total 28 in the NCAA?
That's insane, isn't it? That's we got all sorts of crazy props for that. I mean,
I've never seen a college total at 20.
I mean, I haven't either, man. I mean, you guys probably, I can't remember. I mean, we have all sorts of good props for that. That's matched up against, first half totals and all that stuff. And, last week we had the total score versus Joel Embiid's points and all sorts of stuff. So we're having fun with that, man. Anything crazy like that, you got to think of some props for.
That's a great total. 28 in a college football game.
It's insane.
And you guys got any questions for Dave Mason before he rolls out?
No, not really. I mean, trying to think. What games did you not go over that are still pretty big games that the audience might want to talk about?
I think that's pretty much everything. They're the biggest.
That's pretty much the biggest ones, right?
Yeah.
Wait to the NFL segment, Dave. We're going to be rocking and rolling there.
All right, cool.
Let them know where to find you on social media. And if you got any promos going on at BetOnline, EG.
Yeah, at Dave Mason BOL on Twitter. Head on over to betonline.ag/promotions. We have all the bonus codes right there. 100% bonus for crypto, 50% for other methods. Crypto, my Lord, that's going through the roof today. So good time to be into crypto. Oh, and by the way, just to answer Matt's question, I mean, it's not the biggest game, but it's getting a ton of action. Is Oklahoma State at Florida State at Central Florida. Yeah, we're getting a lot of action there. There's actually more cash on that right now than Michigan Penn State. Far more bets. Yeah, far more bets on Michigan. The Michigan game, but volume wise, I mean that won't be the case by Saturday, but as of now, just a little something out there. We're getting some good volume there.
You got a lot of Oklahoma State money after they had a big game last week.
actually, I'm looking at the bets now. Most of the bigger bets are
UCF.
Central Florida. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a low price too. That's a low number.
Yes.
All right, Dave. We'll
Anyways.
catch you back on the NFL show, man. Thanks.
All right, fellas. Talk to you in a bit.
See you,
Later.
David.
Appreciate you.
He's one of the best guests we have, man. He breaks down the sharp action, what the public's betting, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a gauge. You never really want to be on the public side, even though they do win. Makes you want to pause and reflect and maybe do a little bit more research if you are on the public side in case you're missing something. Rooster, when you see that one side is top heavy with public action, I mean, what do you do with that? Do you try to fade that, or you know?
It's one piece in a puzzle. I think with the internet as strong as it is and the amount of information that's out there nowadays, it's not as strong as it used to be. Baba knows back in the 80s when a public was all over San Francisco under or San Francisco over, we knew that game was going under. I mean, it hit like 70% of the time. And now with the information that's out there, you saw what happened last week. The Squares just completely demolished the bookmakers in the NFL. And, you know, it's not like the old days, put it that way. I think there's still a little bit to it when you get a team that's like bet 90%. But when you get these games that are 65% money or ticket count, it really doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, there's an East Coast bias, there's a West Coast bias, so you're going to have top-heavy Eagles action, you know, even though they are, you know, first place in the NFL. So I think that plays a role. But like you said, anytime you're on the side of the public, you want to just really want to pause. You want to, you know, do some more homework. In case
you really got to talk about how in the first 9 weeks of the season, it's been the public is winning.
Yeah. All right, hold that thought. We're going to go to our next segment. We'll be right back.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday, watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com, and you're listening on Sirius XM. You're watching us at JAKIB Media on YouTube, and we're live streaming the show on X, on Twitter at Philly Godfather. But it's time to get some money, yo. So let's break down some college football and give out some winners. We talked a little bit about Mississippi, Georgia earlier. I know, Maddie, you like Mississippi, in the first half and full game there?
I like them both. Yeah. I mean, Mississippi, they come into this game 6-2. Won against the spread, which is tied for 11th best in the nation, 16-point margin of victory. Georgia, as I talked about earlier, tied for the 4th worst against the spread record in the nation. Both teams had two common opponents in Auburn and Vanderbilt. Both teams beat Auburn by 7, but Ole Miss beat Vanderbilt by 9 more points than Georgia. Always like to back teams that, have, good defensive lines and,
and they don't turn the ball over. They're ranked 10th in the nation in the turnover margin. So anytime you're looking to back a dog, you want a team that doesn't, cough up the rock, right, Matt? I mean, that's huge in college football.
Yeah, it's more than huge. It's humongous. And that's the big reason why I love this Ole Miss plus 11 full game wager in the first half plus 7. I think that's even a better wager. But yeah, I like both of them.
Sheep, after everything that Matt broke down so eloquently, are you still like Georgia here? I mean,
yes, I do. I follow money. Listen, Matt has some of the most analytic information out there. I respect them highly, but this is just Georgia has to set a tone here, and I weigh in more TV positioning and getting to the big dance at the end. So that's why I respect in the first half, but in the end, Georgia's second half defense, I like them a lot.
Did you get that text, Rooster?
Yeah.
Fine. Won't miss. I'm betting won't miss. I'm taking the dog.
Send it in. Go ahead, girls.
All right, let me go first.
I just placed an order for the new Escalade.
Godfather. Wait a minute. You're going to jump on his bandwagon. He had one winning week. This is the 9th week. And he can finally, he went to the groomers today, the beauty parlor before the show, Saturday and Sunday,
Yeah, but it was a big week. It was a winning week, but it was huge for Rooster. That's all I know. I'm not saying now. I don't want him to clown me on the NFL show, so I'm staying quiet. I'm staying quiet.
Have some balls, Godfather. You got to stick it in there.
All right, let me go to Rooster. Rooster, Arizona's lane 10. It's a big number, 54.5 at Colorado. That altitude, they got a great home field advantage. Arizona had a huge win last week against UCLA. They were 3-point dogs, but they were the better team. Now they're laying double digits, on the road. It's tough winning up there, man. You think they cover this big number?
It's tough, but it's not that tough. I like Arizona here a lot. I think the public has given up on Colorado. Colorado was a flash in the pan when nobody had any tape on this kid, this quarterback, and Sanders was doing some goofy coaching moves, caught a couple people off guard. Once they saw some tape, the party was over. I don't think they're going to cover this number. They're not even in Arizona's league. Arizona's a really good. They're a strong football team. They got a good offensive line. They can rush the passer. That kid's going to be running for his life with that weak Colorado offensive line. I'm laying 10 on Arizona here.
It doesn't scare you that they play loose with the football. They're ranked 92nd in the country in the turnover margin. They love coughing the ball up, and it's hard to cover a number when you turn the ball over that much. That doesn't scare you at all here, Rooster?
It does, and that's Arizona's problem this year. If it wasn't for that, they'd be ranked much higher.
Yeah,
yeah, but I think in this game, and I think everybody was caught off guard by Deion Sanders, and all of these coaches have a little chip on their shoulder to teach them a lesson that don't be talking so big when you just come into the league.
Does Colorado still have a chance if they get the 6 wins to make a bowl this year?
It's going to be tough.
I don't think
if they get the 6 wins, they can get to a bowl, right? I don't care if it's the toilet bowl, but they can get in.
They're trying to get them in. They're going to try to get them in.
That's what scares me. That the NCAA, may want them in the bowl.
Yeah.
True.
It brings the Hollywood flash along, and that's people's eyebrows.
What scares me, laying that number with Arizona on the road here, is number one, the altitude. Number two is their pass defense isn't the greatest. They turned the ball over, and they're coming off a big emotional win. It's kind of like a letdown spot, in my opinion, even though they are a good team. They lost 2 games in overtime this year, so they should have a much better record. Let me go to Matt Moltepes from the College Kids. Matt, you like anyone in this matchup?
So I didn't bet anything on this one. The reason I didn't, I initially leaned Arizona, but you also have the turnover problems by Arizona that you just talked about. In Colorado, they're pretty good at, handling the football. So, but Arizona, look at their wins. UCLA won by 17. They beat Oregon State. They destroyed Washington State 44-6. USC went toe for toe with them. And then Washington, they almost pulled that one off. They lost by 1 score. This Arizona team, Rooster said it. A couple
ball over there.
If the football tips their way a little bit here, a little bit there, this Arizona team, they're quite dangerous and they're very, very talented. And you look at common opponents. Colorado lost by 12 to UCLA. They lost by 7 to Oregon State. So I want to say Arizona, but the turnovers definitely are scary.
And Colorado don't turn the ball over. They're 4th in the nation in turnover margin, so they're real protective of that football. But let's go to the next game on the board. Utah's at Washington, 9.5 and 50. This is a heavy double-digit price late in the college football season. for Washington. They haven't beaten anyone by more than 10 points since week 4 of the college football season. And now they're going to have to win by double digits to cover this spread. Let me go to Rooster first. Rooster, do you like anyone here?
Yeah, sharp money's all over the dog here. This line's dropping, if anything, which is crazy for an undefeated Washington team at home. You think the public will be driving this number straight through 10. You can do nothing but bet the dog here. But I wouldn't take less than 10. I think that's the right number on this game, being that it's in Washington. But definitely lean dog here. If I can grab some 10, I'll grab it.
Let me go to Matt Maltemp's from the College Kids. He's been on fire. He's won 14 of his last 17 wagers at the PhillyGodfather.com. Matt, you like anybody in this matchup?
I can't back Utah here. I mean, when I look at Washington, when they've been confronted with competition, they've proven themselves with wins over Arizona State, who's given some teams trouble. They beat USC, and their win over Oregon, who's the one team that absolutely demolished Utah by 30 points. When we look at when Utah faces top-tier offenses, that defense has struggled. They let up points. They let USC score 32. They let Oregon score 35. And I think Washington's on the same level as those offenses. If not, I think they're actually slightly better. The only way Utah covers this game is if they can keep it a lower scoring game and limit Washington from scoring, but I just don't see that happening. This isn't USC's abysmal defense. They're better than that. Now, they're not on Oregon's level. They're right in the middle. Right. But I do, I like Washington first half. I think it's a great bet. I think Washington's a better first half team when we looked at numbers, while Utah's a better second half team. So I really do like Washington first half. You can probably catch -5, -6, -5 to -6.
Sheep, you got your ear to the door in the sports betting market. You got people out in Vegas, Costa Rica, out in the Asia Pacific market. Is anyone making
I think we're going to see some dog money, as Rooster said, on Utah. And I'm seeing 8.5 at Bet Online and Herman's store right now. Listen, the game goes to 8. I can lay Washington -8. They're just a better team. And they're also fighting for playoff position. Now we're at the time of the year. These teams need to score points. And they want to get to the dance. So I'm with Matty. I agree. It's Washington first half, Washington in the game, and hopefully they put up 45 themselves.
All right, let's go to the next game on the board. We still got some time in this segment. Florida at LSU, 13.5, 14s, total 64.5. Let me go to Rooster first. Rooster, you like anyone in this matchup?
Yeah, I kind of like under in this matchup.
We're expecting some weather, right?
Yeah, they're expecting some weather, number one. Number two, it's going to be windy. I like under here. I think the line is right, sitting right around 13.5, 14. But if I can go under 65 here, I'm going to be all over it.
Let me go to Matt Maltemp's from the College Kids. I know Daniels got banged up the previous week against Alabama. Mertz and the Gators offense, they should have some success against LSU's defense. I mean, they can't stop a nosebleed, Matt. Who do you like in this matchup?
So, Florida's 3-6 against the spread this year. LSU has had a much harder strength of schedule, yet they're 5-4 against the spread. They've actually had one of the hardest schedules in the nation, while Florida ranks around 35th from hardest to easiest. Florida, pass-heavy team this year, coming to rank 19th in the nation passing play percentage, and LSU hasn't necessarily had a good pass defense this year. I initially leaned over in this game as long as Jaden Daniels played, but we are going to have some rain, so that kind of scares me a little bit. I haven't touched it, but I mean, everything's dependent on Jaden Daniels. I know the one day he didn't practice. If he plays, I lean over, but it's a high total, 64.5. If he doesn't play, I have to lean Florida with the points.
All right, let me go to Sheep. Sheep, you like anybody real quick before we go to Michigan and Penn State?
I see the favorite. I'm in playoff contention.
Always the favorite. Just lay the favorite.
No,
changing the name of the show. Lay the favorite.
No,
this is the second worst defense that Florida has faced all year in the opponent yards per play metric behind Vanderbilt. They put up points against Vanderbilt.
Jimmy don't care. He's laying the favorite.
I like the favorite.
All right, let's go to the next game. This is the biggest game for us here. Michigan's down to 4, total 45. Let me go to Matt Maltemp's from the College Kids. Matt, who do you like in this?
So Michigan has the highest margin of victory in all football. They've been amazing all year. Penn State, on the other hand, though, they have the 4th best against the spread record in the nation. They hold the 3rd best margin of victory in the nation. They've had a cupcake schedule, Michigan. It's been pretty damn easy.
First test of the season. It's the first.
Yeah, it's the first test. It's it might be. I think it's easier than Georgia. Some people had their strengths.
And Penn State played Ohio State, so they're kind of used to that type of.
They had that test, and not only that, but Penn State, that was a real test. Ohio State, that was a one-score game, and. Another thing to note is Michigan is a top 20 team in rushing play percentage, so they run the ball, they ground and pound. But Penn State's defense, it's suited for the run. If you look at opponent yards per play metric, Penn State is ranked number 1 in the nation. So I do think Penn State +5 at home seems like the move to me. I bet it's small, but I did bet under 45 in this one.
Then we go to Rooster. With everything that Matt said and all the distractions surrounding this Michigan scandal, if it even is a scandal, who do you like in this matchup?
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I like Penn State here at home. I've been to that stadium a handful of times. That home atmosphere is absolutely fierce. I think they're going to have a whiteout. I think I've read that somewhere, but that crowd is going to be totally into this game. Again, like you said, Michigan's facing all kinds of turmoil. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors there, but they got all kinds of lawyers involved and everything else.
Yeah,
bring lawyers, guns, and money. That's all they care about at this point. So I think they can get snuck up on here, and Penn State get ahead early with that defense, hold them off in the second half.
Yeah, and she knows all about lawyers, guns, and money. Who do you like here, man? It's down to 4. Like I got futures on Michigan at 9-1. I'm getting a little worried. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little worried.
I hate to say this. I'm always against Penn State, but I like them a lot here this weekend. I really do. I think they beat them 23-21, close game, but the home field, scrutiny going on in Michigan, and a dear friend of mine out in Vegas told me he took some 5.5 and 5, so I'll stick with that.
All right, there you go. Sheep's on Penn State as well. I want everyone to check out UnderdogFantasy.com. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code WIN, W-I-N, and they'll match your deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code WIN, and they'll match your deposit up to $100. We're going to go to our next segment. We're going to close it out in segment 5. Rooster's going to give out a recap along with Sheep. Let's see who got it right. We'll be right back.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday. Watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Welcome back to the Sports Betting Show. I'm the Philly Godfather from the PhillyGodfather.com, and I'm sitting here with Matt Maltepis from the College Kids. You can follow him on Twitter at TCK_experience and at Matt Maltepis. You can follow Philly Rooster at Philly Rooster. You can follow Sheep at Barry Right Number. And we're breaking down some college football games. Rooster, you got this recap tied up, or you need some help?
I don't need no help. Here you go. Matt from the College Kids. Ole Miss +7 first half. Ole Miss +11 for the game. Miami under 52. Alabama -10. Washington -5 first half. Penn State +4.5. And Florida over 64.5 as long as the QB played. Bad. Georgia -10. Shocker there. Miami first half. Alabama over 47. Colorado +10. Washington -8. LSU -14. And Penn State, he's the kiss of death, and he's on my Penn State team. I just got off.
Rip up the tickets. Rip them up.
Rooster, West Virginia plus 14, Miami plus 14.5, Ole Miss plus 11.5, Arizona minus 10, Utah plus 10, Penn State plus 4.5, and Florida under 65. For the Godfather, you only gave out 2 games because all you did was throw it to us. You like Miami and Colorado.
I like Ole Miss plus 11. I like Florida plus 14.
Ole Miss is tonight, right, Steve?
Yeah, I like Penn State plus the points. It's killing me to bet them because I got futures on Michigan 9-1. I'm getting real worried. I might hedge a little bit with Ohio State or maybe Florida State because Florida State, I mean, they're going to make the playoffs. They're minus 320 to make the playoffs right now. Best odds of any team in the country. And you can still grab 7-1 on them. I mean, it's just Michigan's getting me nervous. Rooster, should I be nervous about this Michigan future?
Not if they get through this game.
But that ain't going to happen because Penn State's winning outright this week.
We're dead. Penn State plus 5 is dead.
Please, get off the game, Rooster. Do us a favor.
Baba and Jamie, that's how you do a recap, okay?
I want to thank everyone for watching the College Football Show, the Sports Betting Show on JAKIB Media on YouTube, on my Twitter account at Philly Godfather, and listening on Sirius XM and on Sports Grid. We'll be back next week. Keep fine.
NFL show, boys. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team all season long with their fantasy pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually do on a Sunday. Watch the games. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, and the Sports Betting Show wants you to get involved. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, use the promo code WIN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.